curious, as a guy who's a pending free agent, what's this landscape like for you with so much uncertainty, especially with regards to the economics the league might be facing after all this?
Yeah, it's definitely tough. It's kind of the unknown of this whole season. I think when we were back home, we didn't know if we were going to be playing or not, and obviously this off season will be a little bit different. I think obviously a little bit shorter, and things might have to be done a little bit quicker. But from my perspective, I think it's just this will be a good opportunity for me to continue to play and continue to prove myself going into free agency this summer. And um, I don't want to think about it too much. I think right now the focus is on the team and what we can do in these playoffs. And
Okay, the next question is from Mike DeFabo from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, Connor, I appreciate you taking the time to do this for us. I'm curious, can you just walk us through a little bit what it's like to actually get a test? From what I understand, it's basically like they tickle your brain with a Q-tip or something like that. Just what does it feel like to actually get a test? And then beyond that, what are some of the procedures that you guys are going through and precautions you're taking?
yeah, it's not the most fun test to take. I think I've gotten it twice now, and like you said, they kind of just stick a Q-tip way up your nostril, and it feels like it's in the back of your brain. But I mean, that's one of the procedures we're taking. I think other than that, it's just kind of the social distancing thing, wearing a mask when you can't keep that distance, and obviously telling us to wash our hands. I think it's most of the things that you guys probably hear. We just have to implement that at the rink when we're with our small groups. Sorry.
Okay, next question is from Seth Rohrabaugh, Tribune Review. Seth, go ahead.
Hi, Connor. How different or how similar was being a member of the Penguins compared to when you left? I mean, obviously there was some different coaches, different GMs or management, different players. Just how different or how seamless or what was the transition returning back to Pittsburgh?
The transition itself was fairly easy. I think there was a lot of turnover in terms of players, but I think the core group of guys was still there. Obviously, Sully was still there. Rex was there when I left. Jock and Gaunt. So most of the coaching staff was all the same. I think obviously interchanged a lot of players throughout the years, and but it was nice to come back. I think a lot of the guys that I was with my last year were still here, and a lot of my friends. So I was able to come back to that, and um, I think different in terms of players, but as far as the system and the culture and everything like that, I think not much has changed.
Okay, next question is from Mike DeFabo of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Mike?
Hey, Connor. I'm curious, right now Allegheny County is in the green phase. So like an average person like me, if I want to, I can go to a restaurant and have dinner or whatnot. I'm curious for an NHL player, what kind of rules and regulations are there? Are there additional steps you guys are taking, or are you allowed, if you're in the green phase, to just go ahead and live your normal life?
Yeah, I think I don't think we should act any differently, but I think maybe refrain from that a little bit. I think unless you're sitting outside somewhere, I don't think. I think it's just a personal thing, to be honest. But I think myself, I want to protect myself as much as I can. Obviously have to go to the grocery store to cook at home, and we've been ordering a lot of delivery lately at my house. But most of the time, I've been cooking and getting that delivery. But I think if I wanted to go out to a restaurant, I think I'd just take the proper procedures and maybe sit outside and wear a mask when I have to.
The next question is from Dan Potash, AT&T Sportsnet.
Connor, hey buddy, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. I just wanted to ask you about the current workouts that you guys are having. How helpful has it been considering the layoff you had going in, where you were only able really just to work out at home or whatever exercise you were able to conduct in your own home, and how much more prepared do you think you'll be for the season when training camp then begins because of these early voluntary workouts?
Yeah, I think it was important for myself to get back on the ice. I was able to have access to a home gym back home, so as far as my strength and conditioning, I was able to kind of keep that up. But I think timing and things on the ice, you can't get that in the gym. And for myself and a lot of the guys that came back for these, I think it was just to have the access, and I think it'll really be beneficial for us that we're able to skate together and moving forward into the phase three. I think it'll be really helpful for us.
Okay, next question is from Seth Rohrabaugh, the Tribune Review.
Connor, you're often identified for being a guy who can play really well with Sidney Crosby. I remember when you first came up as a rookie in 15-16, there was that maybe part of your career where you were maybe a little automatic to give the puck back to him. Later that season, you were maybe a little bit more willing to kind of take that shot. Most famously the overtime goal against San Jose in the Cup final. Do you recall a flashpoint or any moment where you kind of figured out I can take the shot sometimes too?
I think that's you can't pinpoint one time. I think it's not only with Sid. When you first get to the NHL, you kind of feel like the players you're playing with are these star players, and that you always need to get them the puck. I think it was a comfortability thing when I got some games under my belt and I got some confidence with myself. I think I was able to branch off a little bit and play off it as opposed to giving him the puck all the time. I mean, it's a hard question to ask or answer. I think it's there wasn't one moment where I was like, oh, I can start shooting. I think it was just over time, I just became more comfortable. And like I said, I had more confidence playing alongside him.
Next question again is from Mike DeFabo of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Mike?
Hey, Connor, you were talking a little bit before about what specifically you guys are doing at these voluntary workouts. I'm wondering if you can just get into a little more detail about like, where's the direction coming from? Are coaches giving you a set of drills to do, or is it like Sid's taking it upon his shoulders to tell you guys what's going on and taking charge, or like, who's taking charge in these workouts, and what specifically are you guys kind of working on?
Last week, we weren't allowed to have any coaches or anything. We were allowed to have our trainer in the gym, so he was leading us through workouts. And again, it's all voluntary, so it's kind of just a guideline that they're giving us. And I think this week on the ice, we were allowed to have our skating coach, so he was able to take us through drills. But last week, it was kind of just a group effort. We were following along drills that were given to us, but we were going on our own page at the same time. And it wasn't one person. I think Sid was leading a lot of the drills, but it wasn't one person over another just taking charge, and we just got through a bunch of drills together.
Okay, another question from Seth Rohrabaugh, the Tribune Review.
Connor, you were brought back in part because Jake Gensel at the time was not available. 3 months later, here, maybe even 4 months if we get going again here, he might be available under very different circumstances. What do you think a reunion with a potential reunion with Jake and Sid might be like? Do you think you guys would be able to reestablish that chemistry you had, especially in 17?
Yeah, I think it would be nice if we were able to do that again. We had a good run together while I was here last time, and I don't think much has changed in any of our games. That it wouldn't be a smooth transition back to growing that chemistry. And if we do get that opportunity, I think we can really contribute offensively and also be a responsible line at the same time. But I think we can be excited for the fact that might happen.
Connor, we have a question that was submitted via email from the Associated Press, and it was, do you have any reservations or concerns that might get in the way of returning?
I mean, myself personally, I don't. I think as long as the things that the league are putting in place are safe for all of us to play, and I think at the end of the day we all want to play, and as long as everything falls into place and they have the right safety precautions, and I think health is the main concern. So I think as long as they have that in place, I think I don't have any reserves myself.
Okay, another question from Mike DeFabo of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Mike?
What do you expect in terms of the quality of play when you guys do resume?
I don't think it will be a severe drop off. I think maybe hopefully with training camp and maybe a couple pre-games, I think we might be able to get back to where we were at, but I think it might take just a little bit just to get the rust off most of our games. I think, like I said before, it's more about the timing and the chemistry than anything else. And I think once you get 1 or 2 games under your belt, that comes pretty naturally. And I think with the intensity of the playoffs that is already built up, I think the games will be pretty good.
There's a couple more. Seth Rohrabaugh, Tribune Review.
Connor, what do you make of the timing of this? And I mean, like the time on the calendar. I mean, if we're playing hockey you guys were playing hockey in August, and the next season might not start till November, December, January. Just how strange is that end of things from your perspective?
It's definitely different. I don't think you ever expected to be playing this time of year, but again, I think the consensus around the league is that a lot of guys we just want to play and we want to finish the season and obviously award the Stanley Cup. And I think no matter what that takes, we're willing to do that. Um, and I think it's just a little different walking outside. Maybe it's like you're playing in Florida year round, but it's kind of nice at the same time. So I think, like I said, we just want to get the season done, and I think this is the only way to do that. I think we're all willing to do that.
Okay, and the final question was submitted by Dave Molinari of DK Pittsburgh Sports. Connor, have you noticed any changes or differences in Crosby's game since you played together the first time?
I haven't noticed much specifically. I think he's a pretty consistent player. His work ethic's always been the same. His the mold of his game has always been the same. And with a few games that I was able to play alongside him since I got back, I think it was a pretty smooth transition. And I think his game was very similar, or if not the same, than what it was. I think he tries to stick to that, and he tries to play the same way night in and night out. And it just goes to show the consistency of his game, and I don't think much has changed.